Okay, so we're going to go ahead and write equations for parallel and perpendicular lines. So the first thing I want you to do is to find the slope of the lines in both this graph, and then the two underneath it as well, and then pause the video. And then once you find it, you can go ahead and restart the video, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so you're back. And if you counted rise over run, you ended up getting a slope here of 1 and 1. They're both 1. And over here you got -1/2 and -1/2. All right? So what you'll notice about lines that are parallel is they have the same slope, exact same slope. Same thing goes over here. All right? So right here we can fill in that they have the same slope or equal slopes. Their slopes are the same. Now when we come down here, if you didn't do this one yet, go ahead and pause it again. If not, then we ended up getting a slope for line A. We rose 5, went over 1, so this is a slope of 1. And this one we went up 1 and to the left 5, so this one, let's write an arrow, this was -1/5. Okay, whereas over on this side we ended up getting line C was 3/4, and then, write an arrow again, -4/3. All right. So what we notice about perpendicular lines, so when they form a 90-degree angle, where they intersect, their slopes are negative reciprocals. All right. So you'll notice this was like 5/1. We flip the fraction, we switch the sign. All right. A little bit more clear over here. So this would be negative reciprocals. All right. So we're gonna go ahead on to the next page. All right. Page 35. And the question asks us to determine which of the following three lines, line A, B, and C, are parallel or perpendicular, if any. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and write each equation. And what we just noticed, or what we just figured out, is that parallel lines have the same exact slope, perpendicular lines have negative reciprocal slopes. So if you just find the slope of all three of these lines, we can determine whether or not they're parallel or perpendicular. So we want to go ahead and just get them in slope-intercept form, because then we can pull the slope out of there. So here we want to subtract our 4y, so it would be y equals -4x plus 2. So our slope here is -4. This one we want to subtract 20y, or 20x, and then divide by 5. We end up with -4x plus 11/5. Now this, finding the y-intercept is not as important right here, but I had it done anyway. So our slope here is -4. And then lastly, divide by 8, y equals 1/4 x plus 1. So our slope here is a positive 1/4. All right. So from here, we can go ahead and see that line A and line B are both parallel. So we can say A is parallel to B. But then we'll notice this is a negative reciprocal of these two. So we can say that A is perpendicular. It's a symbol for perpendicular. To C, and B is perpendicular to C. Okay, so these are your answers. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to try the example. The one where it says "you try." You can pause the video and I'll just show you the answer. So go ahead and pause it. And we're back. All right. So what we end up finding is that line A had a slope of 5/6. Line B had a slope of -6/5. So therefore, oops, actually, I wrote the wrong symbol. It should be that line A is perpendicular, okay, to line B because their slopes are negative reciprocal.